Sit still for a moment. Breathe. Let the noise slow down. This message is not about hate. It is not about arrogance. It is not about becoming cold or selfish. It is about clarity. In 2026, many people will drain you, distract you, and delay your growth. Not because they are evil, but because they are lost. And when you try to carry someone who refuses to walk, you weaken both of you. Helping is noble, but helping without wisdom is self-destruction. Today we talk about why in 2026 you must not help them until you have mastered yourself. Sit quietly and observe the world around you. You will notice something uncomfortable, yet deeply important. Many people speak about change, growth, and improvement, but very few are willing to endure the discomfort required to transform. They say they want a better life, yet their daily actions remain the same. This is the first truth you must accept if you want clarity and strength in 2026. Not everyone wants to be saved, and realizing this will protect your energy, your focus, and your path. Helping someone who does not truly want to change is like pouring water into a broken vessel. No matter how much effort you give, nothing stays. They return again and again with the same problems, the same complaints, and the same excuses. They are not looking for a way out. They are looking for temporary relief. They want the pain to stop without changing the habits that create the pain. When you offer help in this situation, you may feel useful for a moment, but in reality, you are participating in their cycle of avoidance. There is a subtle difference between someone who is struggling and someone who is comfortable in struggle. A struggling person takes responsibility even when they fail. They ask questions, they listen, and they act. A person who is comfortable in struggle blames circumstances, blames people, and blames fate. They speak endlessly, but they do not move. When you step in to help the second type, you become part of their excuse. They can now say, "Someone is helping me." While doing nothing themselves, your kindness turns into a shield that protects them from growth. In the disciplined way of thinking, suffering is not the enemy. Avoiding responsibility is. Pain has a purpose. It sharpens awareness, builds resilience, and teaches humility. When someone is ready to change, pain becomes fuel. When someone is not ready, pain becomes a story they tell for sympathy. You must learn to see the difference. In 2026, your role is not to remove pain from everyone's life, but to respect the process that pain is meant to serve. There is also an uncomfortable truth you must face about yourself. Often, the desire to help comes from a good place, but sometimes it comes from ego. Helping makes you feel important. It makes you feel needed. It gives you a sense of control. But true strength does not come from being needed. It comes from being whole. When you keep trying to save people who refuse to save themselves, you are not practicing compassion. You are feeding your own attachment to being the solution. Those who truly want change do not ask to be rescued. They ask to be taught. They do not beg for shortcuts. They ask for discipline. They do not run from effort. They welcome it. When you meet such a person, your guidance has meaning. Your words land. Your example inspires. But when someone only wants comfort, your presence becomes a distraction from their responsibility. They lean on you instead of learning to stand. Accepting that not everyone wants to be saved requires emotional maturity. It means you must tolerate seeing people struggle without interfering. It means resisting the urge to explain, advise, and fix. This is difficult because it feels like abandonment, but it is not. It is respect. You are respecting their journey, their timing, and their lessons. Growth cannot be forced. Awareness cannot be borrowed. Discipline cannot be gifted. In 2026, observe more than you speak. Watch patterns, not promises. Notice whether effort follows words. Let actions reveal intention. When you see someone repeatedly choosing comfort over change, step back without anger, without judgment, and without guilt. Your withdrawal is not punishment, it is clarity. By understanding that not everyone wants to be saved, you free yourself from unnecessary burdens. You stop carrying what is not yours to carry. You preserve your strength for your own training, your own discipline, and for those rare individuals who are truly ready to walk the path. This understanding is the foundation of wisdom, and without it, every attempt to help becomes a slow way of losing yourself. To walk the disciplined path, you must first learn to look inward with honesty. Many people believe helping others is always a sign of virtue, kindness, and moral strength. But in truth, constant helping can quietly become a form of ego. This is difficult to accept because ego often disguises itself as goodness. It hides behind generosity, advice, and sacrifice. Yet, if you observe carefully, you will see that not all help is pure and not all giving leads to growth. When you help someone repeatedly who refuses to change, ask yourself what keeps you involved. Often it is not their progress, but your own emotional reward. Helping makes you feel important. It gives you a role. It allows you to feel superior without admitting it. You become the one with answers, the one with strength, the one who is doing better. This creates a silent hierarchy where you stand above and they remain below. This is not compassion. It is attachment. True humility does not need an audience. A disciplined mind does not seek validation through saving others. The monk trains in silence, not because no one needs help, but because inner mastery must come before outward service. When your identity becomes tied to being the helper, you unconsciously need others to remain weak so you can remain relevant. This is how ego traps both people. One stays dependent, the other stays busy feeling useful. There is also a hidden fear beneath constant helping. The fear of facing your own work. Helping others becomes a distraction from personal discipline. It is easier to fix someone else's life than to sit alone with your own flaws, habits, and inconsistencies. Advising others feels productive, but it does not replace training, reflection, or self-control. In this way, helping becomes a form of avoidance. You stay occupied with external problems, so you do not have to confront your internal ones. Observe how often advice is given without being asked for. Observe how quickly people speak when silence would teach more. These are signs of ego seeking expression. A calm and disciplined person understands that growth happens through experience, not explanation. Words have power only when they are backed by embodiment. Without that, they become noise. In 2026, the path requires restraint. Restraint of speech, restraint of interference, restraint of the need to be seen as good. When someone struggles, your first responsibility is not to act, but to observe. Are they moving forward on their own? Are they taking responsibility? Are they willing to suffer for improvement? If not, stepping in feeds the illusion that they can change without effort. Ego wants to control outcomes. It wants to shape people, correct them, and guide their choices. Discipline accepts that each person must walk their own path. You can point to the mountain, but you cannot climb it for them. When you try, you weaken yourself and rob them of the strength that comes from struggle. Letting go of the need to help is uncomfortable at first. You may feel guilty. You may feel selfish, but this discomfort is the withdrawal from ego. It is the moment you stop defining yourself through others. As you step back, something important happens. Your energy returns. Your mind becomes quieter. Your actions become more intentional. A person who has released ego does not rush to be useful. They become stable, grounded. Their presence alone brings clarity. People who are ready will approach them naturally, not to be rescued, but to learn. This is the difference between a savior and a teacher. The savior needs problems to feel valuable. The teacher needs discipline to remain true. In 2026, examine every impulse to help. Ask whether it is rooted in compassion or in the desire to feel important. This question alone will save you years of wasted effort. When help comes from ego, it drains you. When it comes from clarity, it strengthens both sides. By realizing that constant helping is often a form of ego, you take the first real step toward disciplined compassion and true inner freedom. Energy is the foundation of everything you will build in 2026. Without energy, discipline collapses, focus weakens, and intention becomes empty. A warrior monk understands this deeply. He does not waste strength on unnecessary battles, useless conversations, or emotional chaos. He knows that every interaction either sharpens him or drains him. This is why protecting your energy is not selfish. It is survival for the path you have chosen. Most people do not realize how much energy they lose daily. It is not lost through hard work or training. It is lost through emotional leakage. Endless explanations, repeated arguments, listening to the same complaints, trying to motivate those who resist discipline. These interactions may look harmless, but they slowly exhaust the mind and dull the spirit. By the end of the day, you feel tired without having accomplished anything meaningful. This is not physical fatigue. This is energetic depletion. In the warrior monk mindset, energy is sacred. It is preserved through structure, silence, and intention. You do not give access to everyone. You do not respond to every call. You do not react to every emotion presented to you. Reaction is expensive. Stillness is economical. When you learn to pause instead of react, you immediately regain control of your internal state. Many people confuse availability with kindness. They believe being always accessible makes them good. In reality, it makes them scattered. A disciplined person chooses when and where to engage. They understand that attention is a weapon and a gift at the same time. Where you place it determines who you become. If you place it constantly on chaos, confusion, and weakness, you slowly absorb those qualities. In 2026, you must become selective. This does not mean isolation from the world. It means intentional connection. Ask yourself after every interaction, do I feel clearer or heavier? Do I feel motivated or drained? Do I feel focused or distracted? These sensations are signals. Learn to listen to them. Your body and mind always tell the truth before your logic catches up. A warrior monk trains alone not because he rejects people, but because solitude strengthens awareness. In silence, you hear your breath. You notice your thoughts. You confront your impulses. This internal clarity becomes armor. When you then enter the world, you are not easily pulled into emotional storms. You remain centered while others react. Protecting your energy also means guarding your daily rituals. Your mornings should not begin with other people's problems. Your nights should not end with unresolved emotional noise. Discipline requires clean edges. Wake up with intention. Train your body. Still your mind. Feed yourself properly. These are not luxuries, they are foundations. When you skip them to help others, you slowly dismantle your own structure. There is also strength in learning to say no without explanation. Explanations invite negotiation. Negotiation invites guilt. Guilt drains energy. A simple no delivered calmly preserves your inner balance. You do not owe access to everyone. You owe integrity to yourself. This understanding will offend those who benefited from your lack of boundaries. Let them be uncomfortable. Your peace is more important than their approval. A warrior monk does not fight every opponent. He chooses battles that align with his values. In the same way, you must choose which problems deserve your attention. Not every struggle around you is yours to solve. Not every crisis requires your involvement. When you step back, you allow natural consequences to teach lessons that your words never could. In 2026, protecting your energy will feel like a radical act. People will question your distance. They will say you have changed. You have become conscious. You have learned that energy, once lost, is difficult to recover, but energy preserved can be transformed into strength. clarity, and mastery. When your energy is protected, your presence becomes powerful. You speak less, but your words carry weight. You act less, but your actions are precise. This is the way of the warrior monk. Calm, focused, unavailable to chaos, fully available to growth. There is a deep misunderstanding about struggle in modern life. People see it as something to escape, something to remove, something to fix as quickly as possible. But in the disciplined way of living, struggle is not a mistake. It is a method. It is one of life's most precise teachers. When you interfere too early, when you soften every hardship, you do not help a person grow. You interrupt the lesson that was meant for them. Every strong individual you admire was shaped by struggle. Not by comfort, not by rescue, but by moments where no one came to save them. In those moments, something awakened inside them. Responsibility, awareness, strength. When you always step in for others, you deny them the opportunity to discover these qualities within themselves. You replace their potential with your presence. Struggle creates friction, and friction creates clarity. When someone faces difficulty, they are forced to ask hard questions. Why am I here? What must I change? What am I avoiding? Without struggle, these questions never appear. Comfort keeps people asleep. Difficulty wakes them up. If you remove difficulty too soon, they remain unconscious, repeating the same patterns and blaming the same circumstances. In 2026, you must resist the instinct to rescue. This instinct often comes from empathy, but empathy without wisdom becomes interference. Watching someone struggle can be uncomfortable. It triggers guilt, fear, and responsibility. But discomfort does not mean you are doing something wrong. Often, it means you are finally allowing growth to happen. A disciplined person understands that lessons cannot be explained, only experienced. You can tell someone what discipline is, but until they feel the cost of indiscipline, your words remain abstract. You can talk about responsibility, but until they face consequences, responsibility has no weight. Struggle gives weight to truth. There is also a hidden arrogance in constant rescue. It suggests that you believe you know better than life itself, that your solution is superior to the lesson unfolding. But life has been teaching humans long before you arrived. Its methods are slow, painful, and effective. When you step back, you are not being cruel. You are acknowledging a wisdom greater than your own. Letting struggle teach does not mean becoming cold or indifferent. It means trusting the process. It means holding compassion without interference. You can care without carrying. You can love without absorbing. This balance requires strength. Weakness rushes to act. Strength waits and watches. Observe how people change when they finally face the results of their choices. Excuses disappear. Blame fades. Clarity emerges. This transformation rarely happens during comfort. It happens at the edge of pain. When you repeatedly remove that edge, you keep people stuck at the same level year after year. In 2026, Understand this clearly. You are not responsible for managing other people's lessons. Each person has a curriculum designed by their actions. When you interfere, you enroll yourself in a class that was never yours to take. You drain your energy and delay their growth. Letting struggle teach also protects you. It frees you from emotional entanglement. You stop carrying guilt for outcomes you cannot control. You regain focus on your own discipline. From this grounded place, you become more effective when real help is needed. Help that empowers, not enables. This step requires courage. People may accuse you of being distant or uncaring. Let them. Those who benefit from your interference will always resist your boundaries. But those who truly grow will one day understand. They may never thank you, but their strength will be the evidence. Struggle is not punishment. It is training. And training, by nature, is uncomfortable. In 2026, allow struggle to do its work. Step aside with awareness, stand firm in compassion, and trust that the lesson will shape them more deeply than your hands ever could. Before you attempt to guide anyone else, you must confront a simple and uncomfortable truth. If your own life is undisciplined, your help has no weight. Words without structure are empty. Advice without embodiment is noise. In the disciplined path, inner order always comes before outer influence. This is why focusing on your own inner discipline is not selfish. It is foundational. Inner discipline begins with awareness. Awareness of how you wake up, how you move, how you speak, how you react. Most people live on autopilot. They respond emotionally, act impulsively, and justify their behavior afterward. A disciplined person reverses this pattern. They observe first, they choose second, they act last. This sequence creates stability, and stability creates authority without force. In 2026, your primary responsibility is not fixing others, but mastering yourself. This includes your body, your habits, your thoughts, and your emotions. If your sleep is irregular, your diet careless, your training inconsistent, and your mind scattered, you are in no position to lead or help. Discipline is not a concept, it is a daily practice. It is built through repetition, not motivation. A warrior monk does not speak about strength before he has tested it. He trains in silence, often alone, repeating simple movements until they become effortless. In the same way, your life must be structured around simple, repeatable disciplines. Wake up at the same time. Train your body even when you do not feel like it. Sit in silence. Read slowly. Remove unnecessary stimulation. These practices refine your internal environment. Without them, your mind becomes noisy and reactive. When you lack inner discipline, you seek external validation. You look for confirmation through helping, advising, or being needed. This creates dependency on others' problems for your sense of purpose. But when your inner discipline is strong, you no longer need to prove anything. Your presence becomes calm. Your reactions slow down. Your choices become deliberate. People feel this stability. without you saying a word. Focusing on inner discipline also means confronting your weaknesses honestly. Laziness, procrastination, emotional triggers, insecurity. These are not flaws to hide. They are areas to train. Avoiding them while trying to help others is hypocrisy, even if unintentional. Discipline demands alignment between what you say and what you live. In 2026, your growth will require sacrifice. You will need to say no to distractions that others accept as normal. Late nights, mindless scrolling, unnecessary conversations, constant availability. Each of these drains focus and delays mastery. Inner discipline is built through subtraction as much as effort. Remove what weakens you before adding what strengthens you. As your inner discipline deepens, something important happens. You stop rushing to intervene. You stop offering advice prematurely. You stop reacting emotionally to other people's chaos. This is not indifference, it is clarity. You realize that your job is not to manage others' lives, but to maintain your own alignment. From this place, when you do help, it is precise, it is limited. It empowers instead of entangling. You offer guidance only when it is requested and deserved. You model behavior instead of explaining it. This is the highest form of teaching. People learn more from how you live, from what you say. Focusing on inner discipline also builds resilience. When life becomes difficult, you do not collapse. When others panic, you remain steady. This steadiness is rare, and it cannot be faked. It is earned through daily commitment to self-mastery. In a world addicted to comfort and shortcuts, discipline becomes a form of quiet rebellion. In 2026, make your life your primary training ground. Let your habits speak for you. Let your consistency replace your explanations. When your inner discipline is strong, you naturally become someone worth following. And at that point, helping others is no longer a distraction from your path. It becomes a natural extension of it. One of the most important skills you must develop in 2026 is discernment. Not everyone who asks for help is ready to grow. And not everyone who struggles deserves your involvement. There is a clear difference between those who are willing to improve and those who are dependent on being carried. If you fail to recognize this difference, your time, energy, and discipline will be consumed by people who never intend to stand on their own. The willing individual takes responsibility even when progress is slow. They may stumble, but they do not stop walking. They ask questions, listen carefully, and apply what they learn. Their effort is visible even in failure. When you support such a person, your guidance strengthens their independence. Your help becomes a tool they use, not a crutch they lean on. The dependent individual, on the other hand, is attached to being helped. They return with the same problems, unchanged circumstances, and familiar excuses. Their words suggest desire for change, but their actions reveal comfort in dependence. They want reassurance without discipline, solutions without effort, and sympathy without responsibility. When you help them, they feel temporary relief, not transformation. In the disciplined mindset, intention is measured by behavior, not language. Anyone can speak about goals, pain, and dreams. Few are willing to endure discomfort consistently. In 2026, you must learn to watch what people do after they receive guidance. Do they apply it, or do they come back asking for more explanations? Progress reveals willingness. Repetition without growth reveals dependence. Helping the dependent feels compassionate in the moment, but it creates long-term harm. It weakens their self-reliance and strengthens your attachment. You become part of their pattern. They stop looking inward and start looking toward you. This dynamic drains you and traps them. True compassion interrupts this cycle, even when it feels uncomfortable. Differentiating between the willing and the dependent requires emotional control. You must resist guilt. You must resist the urge to prove kindness. You must accept that some people will interpret your boundaries as rejection. Let them. Boundaries reveal truth. Those who are willing will respect them. Those who are dependent will resist them. In 2026, test willingness through distance, not intensity. Step back slightly and observe what happens. The willing person continues forward. They train, reflect, and adjust. The dependent person panics, complains, or disappears until they need support again. This reaction tells you everything you need to know. A disciplined person offers help conditionally, not based on emotion, but on effort. When effort is present, guidance is valuable. When effort is absent, silence is more powerful than advice. Silence forces reflection. It returns responsibility to where it belongs. This does not mean becoming harsh or judgmental. It means becoming precise. Precision is respect. You respect your time. You respect your energy. You respect the growth process. You do not waste resources on outcomes that cannot change. There is also humility in this step. You must accept that you cannot help everyone. This acceptance frees you from unnecessary obligation. You stop trying to be the solution to every problem. You become selective, intentional, and grounded. This clarity strengthens your discipline and sharpens your awareness. When you focus your support on the willing, something remarkable happens. Your guidance has impact. Your presence has meaning. You witness real change, not emotional dependency. This reinforces the value of disciplined compassion. In 2026, remember this clearly. Help is not proven by how much you give, but by what it produces. Support that creates independence is valuable. Support that creates reliance is destructive. By learning to differentiate between the willing and the dependent, you protect your path and honor the purpose of true growth. When you choose discipline, clarity, and boundaries, you must accept a difficult truth. Not everyone will understand your decisions. In fact, many will misunderstand you completely. This is not a sign that you are wrong. It is a natural consequence of stepping out of familiar patterns. In 2026, Accepting misunderstanding is part of your training. People become comfortable with the version of you that serves their needs. The moment you change, when you stop explaining, stop rescuing, and stop being endlessly available, you disrupt their expectations. To them, it feels like loss. Instead of reflecting on their dependence, they project their discomfort onto you. They say you have become cold, distant, or selfish. These labels are not accurate, but they are convenient. Misunderstanding hurts because humans desire connection and approval, but discipline demands independence from constant validation. A warrior monk does not seek applause. He seeks alignment. When your actions are guided by inner clarity, rather than external approval, you become less reactive. You stop adjusting your behavior to maintain comfort for others. In 2026, silence will often replace explanation. This will feel uncomfortable at first. You may feel the urge to defend yourself, to clarify your intentions, to prove your goodness. But explanations invite debate, and debate invites doubt. When you know your path, you do not need to convince anyone. Your consistency will speak louder than your words. Being misunderstood is a test of emotional strength. Can you remain calm while others judge you incorrectly? Can you stay grounded when your motives are questioned? Can you continue training when support disappears? These moments refine your character. They expose your attachment to being liked. Releasing that attachment is part of maturity. Those who truly care about growth will observe over time. They will see that your boundaries are not random, but deliberate. They will notice that you are calmer, more focused, and more disciplined. Understanding comes slowly. Sometimes it never comes. You must be at peace with both outcomes. Misunderstanding also reveals who was benefiting from your lack of boundaries. When you stop overgiving, certain relationships weaken or disappear. This can feel like loss, but it is alignment. You are not losing connection. You are losing dependency. What remains is more honest, more balanced, and more respectful. In the disciplined path, loneliness is not avoided, it is integrated. There will be periods where fewer people walk beside you. Use this time to deepen your practice, train harder, reflect longer, build resilience. Solitude strengthens awareness. Awareness strengthens confidence. Confidence reduces the need for explanation. Accepting misunderstanding also requires humility. You must accept that others are entitled to their perspective. You do not control how you are perceived. Trying to manage perception is exhausting and ultimately impossible. Release this burden. Focus instead on living with integrity. In 2026, your life may look different from what others expect. Your priorities may shift. Your responses may shorten. Your presence may become quieter. This does not mean you have lost compassion. It means you have refined it. Compassion guided by discipline is calm, not chaotic. Remember this truth: those who are ready will eventually understand, and those who are not were never meant to walk your path. Both outcomes are acceptable. Growth does not require universal agreement. When you accept being misunderstood, you gain freedom. Freedom from guilt, freedom from performance, freedom from over-explanation. This freedom allows you to move forward without hesitation. It strengthens your resolve and sharpens your focus. In 2026, let misunderstanding be a signpost, not a setback. It indicates that you are no longer living according to others' expectations. You are living according to your own discipline. And that, even if misunderstood, is the mark of true inner strength. There is a quiet strength in things that do not move. The mountain does not chase, explain, or persuade. It stands, solid, unshaken by weather, noise, or opinion. Those who wish to reach its height must climb it themselves. This is the final lesson for 2026. Stop becoming the crutch people lean on and start becoming the mountain they must rise toward. When you act as a crutch, people rely on you to compensate for their weakness. They rest their weight on your time, your energy, and your emotional availability. Over time, this weakens them and exhausts you. A crutch is meant to be temporary, but when offered without limits, it becomes permanent dependence. The mountain, however, offers no such support. It offers challenge. It offers resistance. And through that resistance, strength is developed. Becoming the mountain means cultivating stability within yourself. Emotional stability, mental stability, behavioral stability. You no longer react to every request, every crisis, or every demand. You respond only when aligned. Your consistency becomes your message. People begin to notice that you are no longer easily pulled into chaos. You are calm when others panic, silent when others argue, focused when others scatter. This stability can feel distant to those who were used to your constant involvement. They may accuse you of being unavailable. But availability without structure is weakness, not kindness. When you become the mountain, you remain present, but not absorbent. You do not collapse under others' weight. You stand firm and let them find their own footing. The mountain does not lower itself to make the climb easier. It remains as it is. This does not make it cruel. It makes it honest. In the same way, you must stop adjusting your standards to accommodate indiscipline. When you lower yourself, you invite stagnation. When you stand firm, you invite growth. In 2026, your life should reflect strength through simplicity. Your habits should be consistent, your boundaries clear, your values visible through action. You do not need to announce your discipline. People will feel it. They will sense that you are no longer available for excuses, only for effort. Those who are ready will approach you differently. They will not ask you to carry them. They will ask how to climb. This is the shift from dependence to respect, from emotional reliance to self-responsibility, from comfort to capability. Becoming the mountain also means releasing attachment to outcomes. Some people will never climb. They will criticize the height, complain about the difficulty, or walk away. let them. The mountain remains. It does not shrink to retain visitors. Its purpose is not to be liked, but to exist in strength. This step requires patience. Mountains are formed slowly. Discipline is built through years of repetition. Do not rush this transformation. Each time you choose restraint over reaction, firmness over guilt, and clarity over comfort, you add another layer to your foundation. In 2026, remember that true influence does not come from constant intervention. It comes from presence. When you enter a room grounded and composed, you change the atmosphere without effort. This is the power of becoming the mountain. People who truly want growth will rise to meet you. They will train harder, speak less, and take responsibility. Your example will challenge them more than your help ever could. Stand firm. Stay disciplined. Remain steady. When you stop being the crutch and become the mountain, you do not abandon others. You give them the greatest gift of all, the opportunity to discover their own strength. As we close this message, return to stillness and reflect on what has been revealed. This speech was never about becoming cold, heartless, or disconnected from others. It was about clarity, discipline, and responsibility. In 2026, the world will reward strength more than sympathy and consistency more than words. If you try to carry everyone, you will collapse under the weight. If you try to save everyone, you will lose yourself. Not helping them does not mean abandoning humanity. It means honoring the natural law of growth. Every person must walk their own path, face their own resistance, and earn their own strength. When you interfere without wisdom, you delay both their evolution and your own. When you step back with awareness, you allow life to teach what your words never could. You are not here to be a crutch for those who refuse to stand. You are here to become disciplined, grounded, and unshakable. When you protect your energy, release ego, accept misunderstanding, and focus on inner mastery, you transform into a presence that inspires without effort. From that place, real help becomes rare, precise, and powerful. Let 2026 be the year you choose alignment over approval, discipline over distraction, and clarity over chaos. Become the mountain. Stand firm in your values. Train daily in silence. Those who are ready will rise to meet you, and those who are not will be left with the lesson they must learn. Walk forward without guilt, grow without apology. And remember this truth: the strongest way to help the world is not by carrying it on your shoulders, but by becoming so solid that others learn to stand on their own.